Well, it is an all too common story that you probably see in the news. A child is sexually abused and doesn't come forward for years out of fear that no one will believe them. Sometimes the child doesn't even know that what has happened to them was wrong.
In other instances, a perpetrator is someone the victim knows and trusts, and the child doesn't want to get them into trouble. Research shows that most coverage of this abuse fails to address social stigmas and barriers to prevention. News 3 Now wants to help change that.
Today we're highlighting the work of the Safe Harbor Child Advocacy Center. Its director, Jennifer Ginsburg, is here with us today. Welcome to Live at 4, Jennifer. Good to see you. For people who are not aware of the important work you do in our community, what is the mission of Safe Harbor?
Yes, Safe Harbor works with children who've experienced abuse. Most of the kids we see have experienced sexual abuse, but we also see kids who experience physical abuse, witness to domestic violence, trafficking, drug endangerment, and we see about 400 kids a year.
And so you're a very important resource for the next step.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, we're talking about, in a lot of cases that we've reported, some people are unable to come forward until years after the abuse has happened. Prosecutors and investigators have said that can make it hard to hold the perpetrators accountable, but what are the main reasons why it's very difficult, why someone doesn't come forward?
Well, the thing to remember is most kids delay their disclosure. Many, if not most, they don't tell until they're adults. But kids delay for a lot of reasons. They're worried, like you said, they're worried about getting in trouble. They're worried about getting the perpetrator in trouble because we know most perpetrators are someone the child knows, loves, and trusts. So they don't want to get that person in trouble. They're worried that they won't be believed. Perpetrators groom children and they groom the community. So that if a child comes forward and says, this is happening to me, people around them might be like, he would never do that. That they're not believed. And so, and the other thing is they might not want to break up the family. They don't want to hurt what we call the non-offending parent, maybe the mother who they worry that, that she'll be devastated if she finds out what happened. So there's many, many reasons for kids not to tell. And so they usually don't tell right away.
A lot of children, when they're young, too, don't have the language yet or the understanding to know that what's happening to them is wrong. It can be very confusing.
Absolutely.
So what is your advice to parents who may be watching today?
Well, what you said about language is really important. So I think the first step for parents is to make sure children can talk about their body parts, because we have to give them the language. If we don't give them the words, or if we treat our body parts with some kind of shame, then how are they supposed to say that something's happening to these body parts? Parents should talk to kids about not keeping secrets. Because most of the time, a offender will say, don't tell about this. This is our little secret. So parents should talk to kids about not keeping secrets. And parents should be really open to the fact that, we're really more comfortable with the idea that it's a stranger that would, come out of the bushes and do this. But most of the time, it's someone the child and the parent knows, loves, and trusts. And so parents really just need to be open to the fact that that is what happens, and so that they know that then if a child says something to them, to be open, to not just ask, tell me more, tell me what happened, and be careful of our impulse to think, oh, that could never happen.
Yeah, so you want to make sure the child feels safe talking with you.
And really repeating that to the child over their life, right? That you can tell me anything, and you won't get in trouble. I won't get mad. You can always tell me anything.
Thank you very much for sharing your work with us. If people want to learn more, is there a website?
Yes, there's a website, safeharborhelpskids.org.
Thanks to you for all you do, and thanks for coming today. Good to see you.